Rarely do we accomplish our goals alone. There's typically someone who we rely on to be honest with us, believe in us, and hold us accountable. A person we know has our best interest at heart. Our next guest, Travis, often carries the task of being that person. As a renowned and highly respected coach for many athletes in Central Ohio, Travis's method centers around building relationships and the importance of one attribute mutually given between athlete and coach, and that is trust. Let's dive right in.
We obviously have a different relationship only because we've been friends prior to, but you're my coach.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that when we had a discussion, I think it was at CRC's anniversary, maybe a year or two ago, you were talking with me and my wife about different the joys and aspects of running and what aspects we should be looking towards in our training plans and things like that, which really solidified me to working with you in my training plan. And I think the biggest reason would be, a matter of trust. It's
Mm.
one thing to find people that, you can rely on and get advice. It's another to really trust them in what they say and how they educate you and trust that they have your best interests out. So my word for you would be, or my question would be, what does trust mean to you? And how does that correlate with your running journey?
Oh, Chris, that's rich. I think it's believing.
Mm,
It is believing in yourself, having trust in yourself, but it's also believing in the people that you run with, that you share the experience with.
yeah.
That's central to trust. Uh, One of my favorite quotes comes from Lopez Lemong,
Hmm.
American Olympian,
Okay.
and in his autobiography, he tells this great story of growing up as a lost boy of Sudan
Mm,
in a refugee camp. He'd have to run for miles around the perimeter of the soccer field before they'd even let him play soccer.
wow.
And by the time he gets to the United States in Syracuse, New York, all that running that he did, he actually finds out he's going to be really great at cross country.
Oh.
And so he meets his cross country coach, and the cross country coach says, only thing it takes for you to achieve your dreams is for you and just one other person
Mm,
to believe in those dreams.
wow.
And I think that lays a great foundation for trust
Mhm.
between the two of them. And then to build on my definition, belief. But I take a lot of responsibility when you said, like, now our relationship as coach and athlete, not just
Yeah.
friends. That's something I reflect on a lot. People are trusting me with their running goals, their running dreams. So I better take that very seriously.
Yeah.
That's a privilege.
I think what really makes it important for me is that having someone like you to be able to tell you, yes or no. And I've noticed there's a lot of people, especially in the hustle and bustle of social media and different advice and things like that. Everyone will tell you this is what you can do, but having someone you can rely on to be completely honest and help set realistic expectations with you is really important because it's so easy to get caught up in the noise, so to speak.
Sure.
But I candidly ask you, can I do this or should I do this? Or heck, I got this 5K, can I race it? But I ask you in a sense of I know that I can trust you enough to be like, you can't do this or it shouldn't because of your goal. Not to say that you're tight garden training things like that, but it's just like I trust you enough to know that if this is beneficial or not, kind of thing. So the other question I would have for you then is in terms of people establishing trust with whether it be in believing in themselves or with others in terms of finding advice or finding recommendations on how they should tackle. What would be 3 things you would suggest as people really get into that journey of running and walking? That how do they find reliable sources and information that they can trust?
Yeah, if you are looking for uh, guidance,
Mm-hmm.
a coach or a group to work with, that trust has to be reciprocal. That'd be my first thing. They have to believe in you. You have to believe in them.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you'll ask me, hey, does this work in the schedule? I have to have trust in you and the other folks who I work with to give them some freedom
Yeah.
sometimes too. Because at the base level, this should all be about the joy we get from this, the
Yeah.
relationships we build, the experiences we have. So I'd want to work with someone who is showing that they trust in me as well. So that would be first.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I think often the sources that are the most certain about their truth often are the most likely to be wrong. They're the ones I trust the least.
Yeah.
I am always asking questions. I'm always reading. I'm always trying to learn, grow, expand my understanding of the sport and how I can help you and everybody else who I work with. I think it's important to have anchors, but to not be adaptable
Yeah.
can be concerning. So don't get caught up with the person who seems to be the most certain. I'm not sure how much I trust that resource. Number three then kind of builds on number two is experiment, tinker, take your time. Don't give up on a path after a day or a week or a month. It might just take a little longer.
Yeah.
Give it a chance, but also be open to other opportunities. And I like to say to the athletes who I've spent the most time with that my hope for them is at some point down the road, they just don't even need me to be around. Maybe I'm still there as a guide because we enjoy the relationship, but my hope is they've learned enough and learned enough ways to explore their space within the sport that they could either go off on their own or go off into another team or coaching relationship and have success because they've grown through that experience.
Wow, that says a lot. Actually, I like that a lot. I like that it's. I like the idea of the being flexible in that sense, and you give me plenty of flexibility in that too. But I think sometimes, again, as you mentioned, those three pillars of finding and establishing trust with others is something that I think a lot of us, even myself, we've both been running for a long time at this point, but it's something that even I need reminders for to really just realign and not be too hard on ourselves, kind of thing.
Yeah, give yourself some grace.
Yeah,
is number one.
Yeah, that's it's been the theme for a lot of these different conversations. So my last question would be, if there's one piece of advice of any context that you would give to someone running, walking, they're just now starting, they're getting into it, they're excited, and what would be the one thing you would give to them or suggest for them?
Be where your feet are.
I like that.
That our sport's great about forcing that upon us if we get out of step with it.
Yeah.
It's so easy. You mentioned the world we live in, the pace of the world, the noise, you said. It's so easy to think about what's next or what's better, or what might theoretically make me happier down the road. And we start to lose sight of what's happening in the moment right now. When you're in a hard workout, you don't have much other choice than to be where you are, right? You better get locked into this moment.
Right.
That's a refrain I'll use sometimes with my athletes before a longer race, like a marathon.
Yeah.
I will say, be in the moment to win the moment. Because at mile 16 of a marathon, and maybe it's not going as well as you expected.
Right.
What happens? I start thinking I have to do this for 10 more miles. It can be really overwhelming.
Wow.
Let's refocus on what's happening now.
Yeah.
Let's be where our feet are and just try to think about, okay, my cadence, my breathing. Appreciate that I can move through space. Let's just get to the next intersection.
Yeah.
The next water station, the next mile marker. And then we'll reassess at that point. And when you're starting out a running journey, it can be a lot to think, oh, I just did 3 miles of run walk. How am I ever going to run a half marathon, whatever your goal might be?
Yeah.
If we're consistent, and do what we need to do every day. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Just be where your feet are.
I like that. That's funny you said that, because being completely transparent, I definitely had a couple moments, just from the weather and different runs, and having to. You said it best. Like sometimes just get through the first mile, get through the second, just be present at that moment. I personally needed to hear that, honestly
Yeah.
speaking. So I appreciate your time. I really do.
Yeah,
Where
my
can
pleasure,
people
Chris.
find you? What do you do outside of that? Is there any way people can reach out to you or find out for anything?
Yeah, I love to talk running all the time. So please fire questions my way. We do a podcast through Columbus Running Company called the Seconds Flat Running Podcast. So you can check us out, Spotify, iTunes, all that kind of stuff. I love to take email questions that we answer on there. So it's just secondsflatpodcast@gmail.com. And typically, if you have a question, somebody else is thinking it too. And
Yeah.
it can be a really helpful way to share this experience with everyone.
Awesome. Well, I strongly recommend the podcast. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Thanks,
I don't
bud.
listen to many podcasts, if ever, but that's the one, especially in my trips, I definitely get a lot of information for.
This feels like a paid endorsement.
No.
Thank you.
No, it's as genuine as you can get, but
yeah, buddy.
I appreciate you so
Yeah.
much.